everyone and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be showing you how to create this really easy pastel green spring themed eyeshadow look using the Colourpop Mint To Be palette. So first things first, I will get all 9 shades in this palette swatched and then I will show you how to create this really easy eyeshadow look. So this is what the palette looks like outside of the uni carton. It is very, very cute, and just opening it up, it has got 9 really gorgeous green shades in, so a lovely mix of mattes and shimmers. So I will go ahead and get these swatched, just starting at what will be the top of the palette and just working my way down. So that is the first 4 shades in the Colourpop Mint To Be palette swatch. So starting at the top is shade Get Fresh, which is just a really pretty matte pastel mint shade. Underneath that is Mint Tea, and this is a metallic vibrant mint with a gold shift, which you can just see in the light there. Underneath that is shade Play It Cool, which is this one here, and that one is an icy mint cream with a duochrome shift. That is a really gorgeous shade. And then lastly is shade Seltzer, and that is a soft aqua with silver pinpoints. So very lovely start to this palette. And then that is the other 5 shades in the Colourpop Mint To Be palette swatched. So starting right at the top is Mojito Mammy, which is a true mint metallic. That is absolutely gorgeous. Just underneath that is shade Dementhe, which is kind of a softer dusty mint shade. It's a really gorgeous matte. So the third shade down is Ice Cold, which is an electric mint. I think it's definitely a bit more teal, but it's a really, really pretty matte shade. Following on underneath that is Freshman, which is this metallic shade here. And that is more of a mid-tone mint. And then last but not least is the final matte shade in this palette. And that is shade Chill Factor, which is a much deeper mint shade, but very pretty nonetheless. So that was all 9 of the gorgeous shades swatched in the Colourpop Mint To Be palette. So now that you've seen those swatched, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create this really, really easy pastel green eyeshadow look, which I think personally is just absolutely perfect for the springtime. So I have of course got all of my base makeup done, and the first shade I'm going to be going in with for this very spring-like pastel-y green look is this shade here, which is shade Get Fresh. So this is the lightest matte shade in this palette and definitely the perfect kind of minty pastel-y shade to start off this spring look. So I've opted for this quite big brush just so I can get this all over my lid and up to my brow as a nice base for this look. So despite the fact this shade is very pastel-y, it is actually very pigmented and probably the nicest like pastel green shade I have out of all of my palettes. Not that I obviously have a pastel mint green in every single palette, but definitely makes for a really gorgeous base and just has laid down really, really beautifully. And then we've got that first gorgeous green shade down on both eyes. So the next shade I'm going in with is shade Seltzer, which is slightly darker than Get Fresh, and I'm going to use the same brush again, and I'm just going to be popping this shade just on the outer part of my eye and into my crease just to add a bit of depth there. So another really, really gorgeous green shade. There is a slight sparkle to this one, but I find by the time you've actually applied it to your eye, you do lose a bit of that sparkle, but that's fine. I do still like the tone of this shade, and I think it's very in keeping with that first very pastel shade that I'd already laid down. So just quite a subtle difference I think in the 2 shades, but it definitely adds just a little bit of something and a little bit more depth to the outer part of the eye. So I'll go ahead and get my other eye done. So there is those 2 shades all nicely applied. So still feeling very pastel-y and very spring-like, but I've taken this flat brush now and I'm going to be going in with shade Mint Tea, which is a very lovely mint shimmer. For that, I'm going to be focusing more on the centre part of my eye because I'm going to be going in with one of the slightly lighter shimmers for the very inner part of my eye. Just loaded up my brush. This shade is very, very sparkly. I just want this. It would be like a nice transition between the outer corner of my eye and then obviously the inner corner of my eye. I know you could do a pastel look all year round, but I really do love pastels for spring. They just remind me of, I don't know, all the flowers are coming out and it's just nice and soft. Love a soft look. So I just want that little bit just on my lid, and I will do the same for my other eye. And then just for the very inner part of my eye, I'm going to be going in with shade Play It Cool. For this one, I'm just going to use my finger because I just want to get the placement on the very inner part of my eye. You would have seen this shade swatch, but it is again a really gorgeous pale green. There's a bit more of a glittery shift in this one, which I just thought would make it perfect for the inner corner, and it just transitions really nicely into Mint Tea. And I think it just keeps the whole eye looking nice and soft and pastel and just, yeah, perfect spring look. Just think the payoff of these shimmers is just absolutely outstanding. So that is all of the upper part of this eye look done, and for the under eye I'm going to be going back in first of all with shade Seltzer, just on the very outer part of my eye, just because obviously on the top lid it is slightly darker on the outer part. So just gone for this smaller brush just so I can get a little bit more precision on the under part of my eye. And where I've already got this shade obviously on my top lid, it will just blend in really, really easily with that. And then of course just the same for this eye. Bringing this probably about a third of the way along the lower part of my eye, and then just saving obviously the rest of the under eye for the next shade. Lastly, I'm going back in with shade Get Fresh, which was that first shade I used for my base, and I'm just going to be applying that to the rest of my under eye. So I did want to keep the inner part a bit lighter, just like on my lid, and then the same for this eye. So there is the eyeshadow part all done, and it's definitely a really lovely, gorgeous green pastel look that, although obviously you could wear any time of year, I just think is a really great look for spring. But of course, just to finish the look off, I need to do my eyeliner, my mascara and my lipstick. For my eyeliner, I'm just opting to use a black eyeliner pencil in my waterline. This is just my go-to eyeliner from Primark. If you haven't tried this one, I do highly, highly recommend it, and it is very inexpensive. Then for my mascara, I'm going to be using this Act Natural Defining Mascara, also from Colourpop, and this is just a black mascara. I think I say every time, if you wanted to don a pair of false lashes or go wild and use a different shade of mascara, then absolutely make this your own. And then lips wise, just to keep the whole look just quite nice and soft and spring-like and simple, I'm going to be using this Colourpop Luxe Lip Oil in the shade First Date. Again, of course, you could use whichever lip product you fancy, lipstick, lip gloss, liquid lip in any shade you fancied. And there is the entire look all completed now. So a really lovely pastel green spring themed look. I will give you a close-up of the eyeshadow just so you can see that in more detail. So I just think this is absolutely perfect look for the spring, and it's just really, really easy to do. I think even if you haven't got this palette, you can use some similar tones and similar shades and palettes that you do have just to create a really on-trend minty pastel eyeshadow look. But I really do rate the Colourpop Mint To Be palette very, very highly. The palette itself is quite a cute little size. Of course, you've seen the 9 shades in it, and it has got a big mirror as well, which is really, really handy, especially if you take this palette away. You don't need to take a separate mirror, which I think is fantastic. Packaging is very cute. You've also got a little mint leaf here in the writing, and you've also got all of the shade names on the back, which I think is just handy to have as well. And then it just comes in this cardboard uni carton with, again, just the theme of the mint leaves running throughout, and it's got all of this kind of pastel green effect down the sides. So the palette itself is $14, which I think is actually really, really good value. I think the fact that you get 9 really gorgeous green shades and a really lovely mix of mattes and those metallics and those shimmers, I think is absolutely gorgeous. So definitely is my ideal palette for creating a really lovely green spring pastel eyeshadow look, and I hope that you agree. So I'd love to know if you have this palette and what you think of it, or what your favourite go-to spring shades are or springtime palettes. So yeah, definitely let me know in the comments below. But as always, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give the video a big thumbs up, leave me a comment, and if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you again in my next video.